Why play Brand Support? Well, he brings tons of damage. He can AoE down entire teams, he's strong at all stages in the game, and he shreds through tanks and squishies. However, he is reliant on skill shots for his combo, and he does lack any mobility at all. Brand's passive is his abilities apply a stack of blaze to an enemy champion hit, causing them to take damage over time. He can apply 3 stacks onto a large monster or enemy champion, and when he does, they get a ring around them. After 2 seconds, this explodes, dealing damage to the champion hit and all other enemies around them. In addition, if he kills an enemy who's ablaze, he gets a small amount of mana back. Brand's Q is a straight line skill shot which deals damage to the first enemy hit. However, if the target's ablaze, it stuns them as well. Brand's W places down a circle on the floor, and after a short delay, it erupts, dealing damage to all enemies within. And if the target was already ablaze, it deals a good amount extra damage. Brand's E is a point and click ability which deals damage to the target and then spreads to nearby enemies around them in a small circle. However, if the target's ablaze, the circle this spreads in is massive, and this is a really easy way to poke enemies in lane where a minion's burning and you use E on the minion to spread it to the champions. Brand's ultimate is a point and click ability which throws a fireball at an enemy, dealing damage to them. This will then bounce to another nearby enemy and can bounce up to 4 times. Otherwise, if there are no other enemies nearby, it can bounce back to Brand and then back to the enemy hopefully. And it will always prioritize enemies with the most stacks of ablaze. And in addition, if the target's ablaze, it also slows them. Brand's basic combo is just to E into Q and W before attacking away. This also works well if starting with W but is a little bit less damage. And with either combo, you can follow up with ultimate for massive damage, especially if it bounces between multiple enemies. And a fun combo in lane is to W the minion wave, then use E to spread your passive onto the enemy. From here, follow up with Q into ult. For matchups, Brand is great into tankier support, dealing massive damage to them and being able to punish any of their engagers. However, he can struggle into enchanter supports who don't give him windows to get kills. For runes, take this. Dark Harvest is amazing extra damage. For build order, start World Atlas and Pots into a Crystal Scepter in tier 2 boots. From here, Leandries and Morellos are great pickups before finishing a build with any of these. For skill order, start W then Q then E before maxing W then Q then E, taking ult whenever you can. For summoner spells, take Flash and Ignite. For synergies, Brand works well with poke heavy carries who can sit back with him, or super aggressive ADCs looking for kills. Starting the game, you're all about bullying. Your W absolutely chunks enemies and you can throw it out fairly often. However, once you have access to level 3, hitting your full combo which also procs your full hit passive is ridiculous damage. So keep poking away with Ws, and if you ever hit a minion with W, you can use E on the minion to spread it to the enemy, and when you hit level 6, your kill threat is amazing. Entering the mid game, take your tower and rotate mid. Especially once you've got Crystal Scepter, you love these early team fights getting chances to deal massive AoE damage. Entering late game team fights, play as the backline mage. You destroy both tanks and squishies, so attacking anything in front of you is very viable. Look to hit your 3-hit combo on the first thing in front of you. If you combine this with your ultimate, you can set the entire team ablaze as they explode. And that's how to play Brand Support. If this video helped you, leave a like and comment below who you want to see next.